Heather McDonald has got the juiciest scoop. When you're on the road, when you're on the go, Juicy Scoop is the show to know. She talks Hollywood tales, her real life Mr. Segment serial data and serial sister. You'll be addicted and addicted fast to the #1 tabloid real life podcast. Listen in, listen up. Whoop whoop. Heather McDonald, Juicy Scoop.
Hello and welcome to Juicy Scoop. Oh my gosh, you guys. You know, yesterday was a day that when I look back at my life, I'm shooketh. A lot of people, I remember my mom told me where she was when unfortunately she heard that President Kennedy was shot. I remember where I was 9/11. And then I remember things that are not as historically important, but for me and for many of you listeners, they are. And that is what happened yesterday when Jen Shah of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City was arrested. Oh my God, you guys. I'd come back from eating a salad to my Juicy Scoop office headquarters here in Woodland Hills, California. And Peter and I had some other business to do. And I looked at my DMs and someone wrote, and I apologize to that someone that I didn't write your name down. Did you hear Jen Shah was arrested? Immediately my heart started to beat so fast I was shaking. I read about it and I immediately did an Instagram story. The reason why this was like such a moment is because, first of all, I was surprised that I was not overly surprised, but a little bit surprised that she was arrested because in my prediction about her, I knew she was full of shit. I just didn't think she was a criminal full of shit. I always said, I don't like Jen Shah because she screams and yells and this fake glam squad. Why do you need a glam squad? You're not Madonna. You're not Erica Jane. Like, stop having a persona of some housewife that you've seen on TV forever. Just be authentic. That's what we love about the Housewives is that it started and we saw these people's authentic lives. And it like irritated me as a fan of the Housewives franchise that she was almost making a mockery of what she thought we wanted to see. I hated the way she screamed and yelled at people. I hated her crying. I didn't like her style. I didn't like her breaking glasses. And actually, I found a DM from someone who knew her and said she'd love to be on your show. And this is before the show started to air. And I DM'd the woman back, Jen Shah, and I said, I love having new housewives on my show. Let's just give it a couple weeks so the audience gets to know you, then we'll have you on. Well, immediately, I have never had such a negative reaction, and you guys who've listened to me know how I felt. I just did not like her. And so I never reached out. I didn't want her on the show. I just couldn't act like I only have people on that I like. Some of them are controversial figures. Some of them are polarizing, but at least they intrigue me. She just besides me not liking her, she didn't intrigue me. I did not want to give her any airtime. I just knew she just did not stand for what I stood for. I thought it was all BS. I heard she rented the house, and I think all this stuff is fake, counterfeit, Gucci and stuff. Now we know it's probably real because she was charged with massive fraud and money laundering. Someone thinks this was great. A Juicy Scooper's husband, the Juicy Scooper's name is Tony Eel, or L. Anyway, he did a beautiful art piece called The Shawshank Redemption. I think the name of the movie should be called Shaw Fraud instead of Shaw Squad. So let's get into what exactly she's being accused of because it's a little confusing and we're finding out more information every minute. Department of Justice, okay? They don't fuck around. Coming out of the Southern District of New York. She and her first assistant, remember she had all the different assistants. And also what's interesting is about a month ago or so, this fashion designer came out accusing her of being verbally abusive, not paying her, not giving him credit for making some of the fashion designs. One of them, which I think might have been this crazy hat deal. Anyway, it came out through an Instagram account called Reality Von Tease 2 or something. I think whoever that person was either the actual designer or himself or someone very close to him. I reached out to that person and they haven't written me back. Now, I don't know, because what happened when they started to reveal how verbally abusive she was, and they showed video of Jen Shah verbally abusing her staff and this particular fashion designer. She then sent a letter before she was arrested, threatening lawsuits and all of that. So I think that those people kind of went silent after that. Now maybe they'll come out again, because I don't think she has a lot of strength behind her claims. So her first assistant is Stuart Smith, and they allegedly profited from generating lists of victims for targeting and directing co-conspirators to defraud them. Now let me explain my knowledge of exactly how this worked in everything that I've read. They would find people that most of them were elderly, weren't savvy with computers, that had legit businesses. They would go to those people and say, we can help you with your business. We can design a website. We can do all this stuff behind the scenes. So these algorithms, which she mentioned when Andy Cohen asked her on the reunion, he really digged the grave, okay, I think. But one of the things is maybe he didn't, because now we know that she was under suspicions, okay? They just released that this case was going on since November of 2019. So first I thought it might have been Andy, but now I know that it was inevitable. Because she's at the top, she's kind of the last people to be arrested. Apparently there's all these people under her that have already been arrested and are doing deals. So they probably flipped and gave the information that Department of Justice needed to get the big honcho, which is Jen Shah, okay? And her main assistant, this guy, Stuart Smith. Just like anything. So like it was a drug dealer, right? You want the kingpin, but you first grab all the people selling the drugs on the street, and then they say, well, this is who I get it from, this is who I get it from, this is who I get it from. We really want the main source. And she is one of the main source people. So basically the reason they would pretend to actually be doing business with these people is because that would kind of help with the situation. Then they'd get these people's names and numbers, information, and then they would sell them to other fraudulent scams as like, here, they call them lead lists. Here's a hot list. Here's all their information. Go after them. Do whatever kind of scam you want to do, whether it's a fake trip in the Bahamas, telling them they're about to get arrested unless they put some money into an account. I don't know. All these kind of things that people lose money from. I don't know how much money has been lost. I don't know if each one is like a 5,000 or $1 million. But obviously she was living very well. Even if you don't like her horrible green Versace outfit and half the other things she wore, they were expensive. Remember, she said she gave an $80,000 party to Meredith. And Meredith is like, I'm not engaging. I'm just, thank you for the party. I'm not engaging. I'm really not. Brooks has a fashion show. Anyway, so basically that's how it works. So they would act like services were included, like tax preparation, website design, and then they were able to traffic these leads. Yes, you're using the word trafficking, these leads. So like I said, it's been going on since November of 2019. It's just really terrible. And now the Manhattan U.S. attorney who's really in charge of this is Andre Strauss. I don't know if that's a man or a woman, Andre, but I'm assuming whoever that person is watched Bravo, or their significant other watched Bravo, and that made them really want to go for it. Maybe not. Well, now I take it back, because this has been going on since November of 2019. It definitely was going on, but her record was sealed. So she knew they might have even been investigating, or the people below her she must have known about while she was filming. Because remember, they were filming before the pandemic. They were filming when BravoCon was happening in November of 2019. They were already on it. So I just can't believe that she didn't think, maybe I should pull out of this. Maybe I shouldn't be flashing all my money. Maybe I shouldn't be roller skating around my fake offices where we do no services but scam people. There weren't people making web designs. There weren't people doing tax preparations. No, they were lying to these people, getting their information, and then sending them off to other people, taking profits from all the other frauds that scammers that they sold it to. They were putting them in third-party like partnerships, so their name wasn't on it, offshore accounts. So they were arrested yesterday. Now let's talk about the juicy arrest. Here she is coming out after she was arrested because they were not held. They weren't even held on any kind of bond. They were just told they can't leave the country and they can't move more than $10,000 out from any account. Apparently she has a virtual hearing as of this morning, which is Wednesday. According to all the information that's been gathered, anonymous sources, but so many articles were written about this, from Variety to TMZ to every blogger to myself has been talking about this. The girls were on one of their trips somewhere in Colorado, and they were on a van going, a 3-hour ride going to the next place that they were going to be. They were all on the van, or they're about to all get on the van, when Jen Shah, according to these anonymous sources, allegedly got a call, and she then told producers, I'm sorry, I can't go on this trip. There's an emergency with my husband. I have to go home. She had her aunt pick her up, and they got in the car. We now know that the SWAT team was at her house questioning Shah, her husband. I forgot his first name, but Mr. Shah. They were questioning him, and he must have tipped her off and said, the SWAT team's here. Now, what makes me think is, of course, now we know that they both knew that this might be coming down if all these other people involved in their scam have already been arrested and have made deals. It was only a matter of time. And to think that you'd continue with this show is so extremely fame hungry and disgusting. I don't know what their plan was. Some people are like, do you think Coach Shah knew? He's a coach because at one time he was an attorney. So he is a very intelligent, educated person. He gave up being an attorney and he was an assistant coach at a college. And one of their storylines is that he didn't spend enough time with her, that college, football took precedence, that he cares so much about his players, and that even when her father was being buried, he went to the ceremony, but maybe not the burial, or one or the other. And, but he always appeared to be a really lovely, normal, even keel, supportive husband, because she was always screaming and throwing glasses and going, you're going to leave me to hang out with Mary, who fucked her grandfather, a grandfather fucker? Like, just everything. And I thought it was all fake for dramatics. She was on Watch What Happens Live, and she's talking on this weird microphone that she just bought a bunch of microphones and put like Shaw Squad on it, and that was one of the products she was selling. That's why I thought she just was doing like some bullshit products, like buy a bunch of eyelashes from some third world country and act like they're your eyelashes now and slap your name on it. And I don't know, because a juicy scooper who just reminded me, they DM'd me months and months ago and said, you're right about Jen Shah. Her business is something shady or bullshit, because she just removed her LinkedIn and all of her findings, Google stuff about her business 6 months ago. So I do believe she knew this was going down, which is why there wasn't a bigger freak out, and she knew she would need to just get away from the van filming and get out of there. Apparently, then, the police come to the van where all the other girls are filming, and the producers, and they're like, where is Jen Shah? And they said, she left. She had a family emergency. We don't know where she went. They then find her somehow. They had a pin in her phone, is what I read. And again, this is so much information coming at me. This is just what I'm gathering. It may not all be 100% correct. So then they pull over the aunt with her in it. They arrest her. They bring her there. And, sure, of course, she's in a fur coat. It's cold. But just to be arrested in like a gorgeous, what looked to be a chocolate sable coat and beautiful python-looking type of high boots, it's just unbelievable. And, the question is, where do we go from here, Andy Cohen and Bravo? I mean, it's making the show great. I'm watching it. But geez, I mean, we have had so many people be arrested. Now, some of them were like, whoopsie, Luann de Lesseps. When Luann de Lesseps got arrested, well, I'll tell you what happened, my darlings. I was feeling very depressed about my marriage that had only lasted a year. It was about Tom. And I had several cocktails and a few bottles of red rosé with a girlfriend. And I met a gentleman. And I said, come up to my room. He was a polo player that I used to be friendly with. And I got off on the wrong floor and I walked into what I thought was my room. And this woman said, this is my room. And I said, no, it's not. And apparently she called security. And I doubled down and I said, no, this is my room. And then a gentleman from the Miami Police Department arrested me. And I have such beautiful long limbs. I was able to get out of my handcuffs, and in which I tried to tell him again, I think there's a mix-up. I was arrested. I had to go to rehab. I lost 10 pounds. I've never looked better. Giovanni, she was fine. And look, we all could kind of relate. Who hasn't gotten a little drunk because you're depressed that you're at the same spot where you were once married and the guy is no longer with you? We've all been there. We've all walked into the wrong room when we tried to screw a polo player and then realized we were in the wrong room. I mean, those aren't bad. Tinsley being a stalker, attacking her boyfriend with bad Botox and a mugshot, been there. Danielle, a.k.a. Beverly, of New Jersey. That was a big deal. She was our first mugshot, and that was from a long time ago. But when the mugshot happens while you are filming, it is like, holy shit. Now, we've got Erica Jane. Of course, she has not been arrested. How much does she know about Tom Girardi's? Something just came out about Tom Girardi that he's got $2,900 to his name, or that's his monthly income. I don't know. Whatever it is, they say he has Alzheimer's. He can't be part of this. He doesn't know what's going on. We've got that show coming out. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I don't know who they're going to get to be on this show. But I don't think any of the girls knew the extent of this. Heather Gay, who I met, who was lovely, but on the reunion, when they talked about what do you do, he says, Andy Cohen says, a lot of people ask, what do you do, Jen Shah, that you need all these assistants and you're this boss babe and you can throw these parties every week? And Heather Gay says, I don't know what she does either. She's explained to me it's marketing something I don't understand. All I know is that I've benefited some really great times from it. I was at a Tao nightclub in Las Vegas and it was fabulous, and that's all I know. And she smiles, aren't I a great friend? And then she explains that we do a marketing business. So when you see an ad pop up, we're in charge of the algorithm that makes the ad pop up. And I remember watching that being like, hold on a minute. That's kind of thing that we all can't figure out when you're talking to your friend about a wide-legged pant from, Alice and Olivier, and then all of a sudden, an hour later, you're having a salad and there's 12 wide-legged pants on your phone. I was like, that's Jen Shah. Jen Shah is the genius behind that. That's the way it sounded. And I was like, there's no way Jen Shah in Utah is the genius behind my phone listening to me and hearing words and then giving me a great ad. No way. So, and I was like, and I hardly think she's like some marketing genius that people are like, you know what? How do we get more people to know about our bagel shop? Well, Jen Shah to Utah. Wow, what a marketing genius she is. I thought it was weird, but I still just thought she was full of shit and it was just a bunch of fake label-y stuff. And of course, I was also really obsessed with Mary. Mary's also on there, and Mary's probably jumping up for joy, get the heat off of me. But also, if I was Mary or any of those women, I'd be like, well, now we are on the radar. If any of us are doing anything wrong, they're watching these shows. And even in the Girardi case in Beverly Hills, they made references to exact scenes from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills about her glam squad, how much it costs every month. Because, of course, over $20 million of the Girardi law firm money, that was meant for these victims, somehow were being funneled through her company. Now she can say I wasn't aware of it. It's just such a mess. And it's just unbelievable. And I think it'll be, now I'm assuming she'll stop filming, but still, doesn't mean the girls can't talk about it. Doesn't mean they can't wonder about it. What kind of time will she do? Well, according to all of it, the things that she's being accused of, it can go anywhere from 30 to 50 years, which is the maximum in prison. I predict it will be nothing like that, but it will be like a solid year, at least as much as Teresa got. A solid year in prison. And, but you know what? Of all the people to go to prison, I think she can handle herself. Screaming, yelling, fighting. I don't know. She had the nails. I mean, I think that she is going to do just fine in prison. I think Teresa was going to do fine in prison too. Some housewives that I do not think that would do well in prison is, let me think about this. Dorit. I think Dorit of Beverly Hills would do horrible in prison. I think Ramona in prison would also do horrible because she would be like at the eating the food, going to get her tray at the prison. Hi, excuse me, ma'am. You know what, this food, it actually looks really disgusting. And first of all, I shouldn't even be here because my crime was like not even a big deal. It's because I'm famous. I don't know if you watch The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, but I'm like one of the original New York housewives. And I just think like I like to cook. I like to have through these beautiful parties in the Hamptons. And can I just give you a couple tips about when you're serving this slop? It's like, it's like kind of just going all over the place. It's like, I don't actually even need this much. It's like your portion control is really absolutely upsetting to me. And also, do you have a lot of ice? I like a lot of ice in my drink. And I noticed there's a lack of ice here at this prison. So she would do horribly. I actually think Lisa Vanderpump would do okay. Because I've hung out with her. She cleans her own floors. And as you go, no, Heather, no. I think she would love to give these girls style tips. And she is actually very motherly. So I think she could almost be like there in women's prisons. There's like a mama. There's a mama. And then they play like a family in it. So there's like a mama. And there's then the dada. Those are women that can like actually grow enough facial hair, which I could probably do pretty well at. Lately, I've noticed I've been like tweezing. And Peter is here and he's just letting me know I am making up a scenario. Nobody else that I'm talking about is going to jail, and even Jen Shah may never go. I'm saying if people were to go to jail, what I imagine their experience would be like. Ramona Singer has done nothing wrong. Okay. Thank you, Peter. Want to make that clear. Anyway, there could be a whole nother spinoff show called Love After Lockup, Real Housewives Edition, Real Housewives of Prison. I don't know. Do a whole just talk about when you've been a reality star and you've had to go to prison. Who watches your show, how you made friends with them. I feel like we never even got enough really of that info out of Teresa. I know she wrote a book, but I couldn't get through it. Jen Shah, maybe she'll write a book. I don't know. I think she's so unlikable, but is anyone feeling sorry for her? Can anyone talk about it? Let me know. But I'm excited for who I cast in the movie. Okay. This is Priyanka Chopra. She's gorgeous. She's married to the Jonas brother. And she's a very good actress. Now you're probably thinking, come on, Heather. She's so much prettier and younger than Jen Shah. Well, she's 38. She is gorgeous. Jen Shah, I think, is about like 46 or something, or 7. And you always pick someone a little bit younger and prettier than yourself, except when it's you, when it was for me. The one time someone played me in Celebrity Ghost Stories. No offense to the girl who got that part if she's a juicy scooper. But they showed a version of me pretending to do stand-up. I mean, acting like I was doing stand-up before the ghost came and tried to rape me and steal my lip liner. Look it up. I've told the story too many times. It's Celebrity Ghost Story. I made $6,000 for it, and I pretty much thought it was a dream, but maybe it wasn't. Anyway, they put a girl that was not cute and like not my body shape, nothing. But normally you pick a more attractive person always. So I like her playing it, and I think she'd have fun with it because she does drama and comedy. And I think it could be like high camp. You got to high camp it. We see all the behind the scenes of Real Housewives. We have someone play Andy Cohen. God, I don't know who I would get for Andy Cohen. Cuba Gooding Jr. would be perfect. For one thing, he doesn't work like he was working when he got the Oscar. But what he got the Oscar for was playing a football player, okay? And with Jerry Maguire. And the thing about Coach Shah is he's really sweet and he does these inspirational talks and, you know, he's this great guy in real life. So we need a guy who's charming. I think he's a good age. I think he looks it. That is who I'm putting. You're welcome, Hollywood. You're welcome. To play me, oh God. Just somebody younger and prettier. That's all I ask. They don't even have to look like me. That's why I would like Zoe Kravitz to play me because she's hot, she's gorgeous. We have nothing in common, but if someone's going to play me, I'm putting it out there, Zoe Kravitz, okay? I like her style. I like her skin. She's just gorgeous and she's young. And you're going to go, Heather, yes, that's who I want. And let's see, who could play Andy Cohen? I know you're going to go, what, Heather? Matt Damon. It's a stretch. I know. But he's about the same age. He's got the salt and pepper hair. And I just think, why not? So there you go. Tell me your other casting choices. It's always fun to do. Peter says I'm rolling over here. Okay. Okay. I have myself up on the screen right now because I was lucky enough to do a very fun show on Comedy Central. It's playing all this week. It's called The Hall of Flame, and it's all these best moments from the roast on Comedy Central. And they asked me to do it, and they said, we're going to film you on Zoom, and we're going to show you the clips for the first time, and you're going to react to it. It's myself and I don't know, about 10 or 12 other comics that are featured, and a couple of people I know, which is fun to watch them as well. And they're normal people. So they're like in their living room, maybe in their cute New York apartment. You know, they made their bed. They maybe have a plant behind them. Not me. I've been trained by Bethany fucking Frankel, okay? Harry fucking Hamlin and Lisa Rinna. I have Juicy Scoop behind me, both by books. My wine from the City Winery, which, by the way, I'm hitting all of them in the fall. Those will be announced soon. And I was pretty proud of myself. Because now some people might know about Juicy Scoop that watch Comedy Central. But anyway, it's a fun show, and it really is amazing, some of the crazy stuff they said. And my comments are a lot about, I can't believe this happened back then. And one of the stories was about Rob Lowe. It was Rob Lowe's roast. And Jewel got up there and she sang a song and made it about the fact that he's had so much sex in his life. And I was like, God, you forget that he had this big scandal happen. It was 1988 and he was in town for the Democratic National Convention, big supporter of that. And I guess he picked up two girls at a bar. He claims he did not know that one of them was underage. She was 16. The other girl was 23. They had sex with them. There might have been one other guy having sex. It was all filmed. And, then it got out. He claimed that the 16-year-old girl was trying to blackmail him, and that he was definitely not sure that she was under 16. She claimed that she never was trying to blackmail him. They settled out of court. He moved on with his life. He then became sober because of that. He talks about it in his book and his one-man show. And he's been married forever. And even Peter said that. He goes, how could this guy I can't believe this. When did this happen? He's been married forever. I'm like, well, he looks so young, but he's been married 30 years, which makes sense because he got sober at 29, then met his wife, who I believe was like a makeup artist on one of his shows. He has two, gorgeous boys. He's a total family man, been sober all these years. I remembered I have a friend who claimed that she screwed him too. And I really need to call her. Well, maybe I'll, you know what I'm going to call her? I'm going to tell this story on Patreon on Friday to make sure I can tell it. I know I can't say her name, but I'll just tell you. She saw him on the beach in Malibu. They started talking. They got together and boned, and it was amazing. And that was, before he was married. So he was kind of slutty, just like Jules said in the roast on Comedy Central, but still gorgeous. Guys, this Michael Strahan was trending yesterday. He has gotten his big teeth. Will you just check the story? Because now you make me worried, because someone sent me the two pictures side by side, and I'm like, is this possibly a joke? Now, the thing that I loved about Michael Strahan, one of the things is his amazing smile, infectious personality. And I think it was kind of that big gap between his teeth. It's kind of cute and different. There was a top model, I can't remember her name. She's like 75 now, but she had the split between her teeth, and it was sort of signature. It was sort of sexy. And now that everyone can fix their teeth and get big giant teeth, you're like, why doesn't everybody have perfect teeth? Anyway, it looks like he got perfect teeth. Is it correct? Did it really happen? He really got the big giant teeth. He went to the same doctor as, I guess, Lisa Vanderpump and Kyle and Kim Richards and Dolores of New Jersey got big teeth. Margaret got big teeth. Ramona got new teeth. Though I do think Ramona's are probably more subtle than others. Anyway, get your big teeth on. It's for everybody. All right, I talked about this briefly, this story. It unfortunately is still ongoing, and this woman is not found. She was in the U.S. Virgin Islands, and they're on a kind of catamaran boat that maybe sleeps like 6 or 7 people max, but mostly only 4 people would be on it. And they're in the Virgin Islands, and she's 41, and her boyfriend is 42, and 8 people, Peter said. Peter knows this because I've talked about this. He is getting completely certified, not this weekend, but next. And then we will be taking this type of boat to Catalina on 4th of July. If anybody else is going to Catalina on 4th of July, you're a Juicy Scooper, please watch out for me. He claims that he wants me to now wear a vest full time after this story. Like, wants me to wear a vest, like as they don't call it anchoring, they call it mooring. Mooring. They were mooringed, okay? And they were in the Virgin Islands, this girl and her boyfriend. He says he heard something or checked on her at 2 a.m. and she was not on the boat. He was like, oh, well, and went back to bed and did not call the Coast Guard until 11:46. There was a dog walker, I guess, who was walking around the beach and heard some type of a splash and a scream at like 1:45. Now, this is what's interesting. The boyfriend, they looked up. In 2011, he did have a domestic warrant arrest. That is not great news. He picked up the anchor this week. He left the morning, and he's, we don't know where he is right now. At least the news people don't know. But his attorney, who did not immediately respond to the Fox News request for a comment to answer whether he knew where his client had gone, law enforcement said they weren't aware of his whereabouts either. So maybe he's on the run. He probably should be. I mean, it's very suspicious. Peter is now saying lots of noise on the water, and it's mooring, not morning. Mooring. So they don't use anchors, I guess. They just tie it up to something. Anyway, this guy's attorney, who's claiming he doesn't even know where his client is, he also helped defend a sailboat captain in a homicide case of 2019. So I think he picked the right kind of attorney. He convinced this attorney, the judge, to throw it out on a technicality. He pointed out that his client had been charged under a law that applied to commercial captains who were sailing privately, according to Portland Press Herald, based in the defendant's home state of Maine. So Bill Smith was charged with a seaman's manslaughter in connection to the death of a crewmate who jumped overboard after the two had been fighting. So he's saying they were fighting, the crewman jumped over and died, but it's not the captain's fault because it was a law under commercial pilots who sail privately. When Peter has his sailing license, we will be sailing privately. Okay? Privately. We're not on, whatever, a big, huge ship. Like, what was the ship we went on?
Princess Cruise.
No, we went on the Royal Caribbean.
Oh.
It's not like that. It's not even like if we went on a boat and, hired a captain. No, I guess if we hired a captain, that would still be privately. But my captain is, and you may remember Catalina is, if you don't know, it's an island, couple hours from a boat ride from like Long Beach or whatever. And that is where Natalie Wood died. Okay? She went missing. There's a whole story behind that. It was herself and her husband at the time and the other guy, I can't remember the name of the actor. Anyway, they didn't know if she was having an affair with the actor or the husband and the actor were having an affair, or if she just got drunk. Did she go on a little dinghy because she was pissed and she wanted to take the little dinghy off and get a drink, into town? Because their boat was just a little bit off from shore. Then her body was found 12 hours later. Natalie Wood. And so yeah, we're going to do that. Aren't we going to go when we go to Miami too?
Yeah.
We're going to do some private sailing with Jill Zarin when I'm in Miami at the Miami Improv. I believe I'm there June 16th or 17th, 18th, and 19th. Miami Improv, heathermcdonald.net. I'm going to just, hey, I'm putting it out there because if something was to happen, then you guys know I was concerned, okay? Person of interest is Peter DeBias. Now, Peter, because I put it out there, is also concerned that something could happen to me, and he didn't do it, and he's now setting his plan to be perceived as innocent. Hence why he wants me to wear a vest like a 4-year-old all day on a boat when I've been swimming my whole life, okay? So he thinks because I like to enjoy a cocktail on a boat. I don't know why anybody would go on a boat if you're not going to drink. I like clear liquor, like a Chardonnay or a Veuve champagne, or a Skinny Girl margarita or something like that. And Peter reminded me, it's Robert Wagner was Natalie Wood's boyfriend, and Christopher Walken was the actor. And the rumor is either she was sleeping with Christopher Walken and Robert got mad and found out, or Robert and Christopher Walken had something going on, because there was rumors about that. All rumors, all super juicy. If you're not familiar with the case, go look it up and have a good time. And please come and rescue me. Anyway, I hope she gets found. We really don't know. It was a 47-foot catamaran. And, like I said, he didn't call 911 or even tell anybody about it till 10 hours after she was gone. And she's been missing since March 7th or 8th. So it's not looking good. And we wish to find her. This was kind of an interesting story. Rachel Bilson, beautiful actress. I always remember from the OC scripted show. She went to high school, I guess, with Rami Malek. That's who won the awards for Mr. Robot. He was in a movie that we saw recently that sucked. It was him and Denzel Washington called The Little Things. Everyone was super excited to watch it on their streaming service because it was like, Denzel playing his best role, a cop, a detective, that's like kind of, I don't know, he's not disbarred, but he kind of lost his ranking or something. Some shit went down. And it's supposed to be like the 90s or the 70s, but it looks like the 90s. I don't know. It was a weird movie, and it was about like a serial killer. And in the end, you really don't even know if they got the right person or not. It just wasn't good. Anyway, but he's a respectable actor now. So right before he was about to win his awards for Mr. Robot, Rachel is like, oh my God, we went to high school together. We were in the Crucible together. I'm going to do a Throwback Thursday photo because I came across this great photo of us. And now she throws it up there. And she told the story on Dax Shepard's podcast. And she said, and immediately I get like info, I get a message from his team or his people saying, take it down, take it down. And she was like, okay, God, all right. So she takes it down. And she's kind of embarrassed, but she's like, whatever. Now, sometimes people don't check their DMs. A week later, she happened to notice he sent her a DM right when it had gone up, but before I guess she had a chance to take it down. And then he got his people involved. And all he said is, please take that down. I don't appreciate that picture. Something like that. And she said when she read it, like her heart's beating, like peed a little, like I could completely relate, like holy fuck. And it really bummed her out and hurt her feelings. I can imagine why. Because she might have thought, God, I thought we were friends. Is it because you don't want to be associated with me? Because now I'm not at the level of like Golden Globe status acting? What is it? And looking at the photo, he doesn't look great. He's much heavier. He doesn't have that chiseled face that he had playing the guy in Queen or anything. He's kind of got like a cheesy gold chain on. He's got a white T-shirt. This is, by the way, this photo came from Perez Hilton had the photo. And the original photo that then was taken down. And, you know, I think that happens. And I think that is why you have to be careful about what you post, whether it's, hey, we just took a photo. I always now say, are we good? Are we good? Are we good? Especially if my friends are celebrities. If they're not, I don't care. No, just kidding. I ask all my friends, are we good with this? Or, you know, when I was with Tiffany Moon and Deandra Simmons from Real Housewives of Dallas, they came to my stand-up show this weekend. We took a bunch of pictures and it was great. Not great. I mean, the pictures weren't great. We're in a horrible, dark green room. The two cute husbands, both of them have very nice husbands who were trying to help. Actually, Deandra's husband is a photographer. He got 2 iPhones. He was lighting it for us. I mean, and they still didn't turn out great. And I just said, you guys, tell me what I can post. Send it to me. Play with it. Do a filter. I don't know. And then once you're happy with that, send it back to me because I don't want to happen what happened to me in Miami with Whitney Cummings, which is when we were on a boat. I was opening for Chelsea. Whitney was there just as a fun friend having fun. And I posted some photos, I think on Insta Story or something. And right before about to get on stage, she had me shaking, just like, what's his name? Just like Rami had Rachel Bilson shaking. She's just like, a friend told me that, who follows you, because I guess Whitney doesn't follow me. And, you know, this photo is really unflattering of me. And these are the kind of things why people don't like you. And I was like, oh my God, I'm shaking. I take it down. I'm like, I literally thought it was fun. I mean, it wasn't the most gorgeous photo of her, but like we were in bathing suits and she has a great body. And I thought it was like kind of a funny photo, just like Rachel did. Anyway, it happens to everybody. It happens to me. It happens to, you know, Golden Globe winners. The latest is, as we talked before, Sharon Osborne is no longer coming back to the talk. And there's a lot of reports saying she was threatening to sue, and therefore she's going to get anywhere between $5 and $10 million payout for exiting the talk. But CBS is denying that story. They're saying she, in fact, left on her own accord, and there is not a lawsuit or a big payout happening. I would be surprised if there was not a big payout, but I don't know how these things really work. And maybe there is, and maybe they want it to be one of those things that she can never disclose or talk about. So they're trying to shut down the story now, pay her off and be done with it. I'm not really sure. So, whoops. Oh, geez. Okay, sorry. So there we go with that. Who knows what will happen with the show, if they're going to bring anybody else. I think they'll probably just keep it with the 4 of them. Okay, Teresa Giudice. Let's talk a little bit about Real Housewives of New Jersey. I was watching it from last week. Now she doesn't have her new boyfriend in the show of what we're seeing, but this guy Luis Rulas, he is apparently a Scientologist, which is interesting because, as you know, Teresa's Catholic and she was raised very Catholic. I don't know how like she is now, but a lot of religious references in her house. And when they're trying to sell her house, even the realtor is like, can you get rid of the religious stuff, you know? So I don't even know if she would understand the Scientology. Like, is he going to try to convince her or recruit her or get her to go? That would be kind of fun, you know? And she's like, yeah, I mean, it's like, it's Scientology. I mean, I don't know. It's like, you know, being positive, talking, communicating. Yeah, like I went to this thing and they do this thing auditing, which kind of freaked me out because, you know, the auditing is what got Joe and I in so much trouble. But this is like a different kind of auditing at the Scientology Center. And they just like, you hold these like two cans and you just tell stuff about yourself. And it's like, there's nothing to tell. I mean, what am I going to tell? That my boobies used to be little? Like, I haven't done anything wrong. I mean, that's why I ended up in prison because I told the truth. And I was like, Joe told me to sign this and I signed it. And now I'm in prison. And so like, I'm just so happy to be with like my soulmate. Like he's my soulmate. And you know, it's like Jackie, I don't really care about Jackie. Jackie probably needs some Scientology. Like, I don't even know what religion she is. She's nothing great, you know? And it's like, yeah. So there you go. And Joe and I are selling vibrators right now. So we're like really good divorce friends selling vibrators. And I gave it to everybody on the show last night so that I could get some sales for him because we got to support these girls, you know? Oh my God. And that was hilarious too. So there was TikTok went viral and Amir, who was on my show a while ago, he actually started the TikTok trend and it's from a very early episode of Real Housewives of New Jersey when little Gia wrote a song. I think it was a song that she dedicated to Melania. And she's like, woke up in the morning thinking about so many things. And the way it works then is they show someone thinking about so many things and then they do the writing of like something super embarrassing. Like I saw this one girl's when my mom and dad allow my sister and I to be in a talent show. And it's like, it's so bad they're dancing. The one bigger girl just starts swinging the other girl around as their talent and like basically assaulting her. And then Will Smith did one. Anyway, it's very funny. I'm very happy that he started that trend. And apparently Gia has a great sense of humor about it. But they're a fun family. So they're selling their house. There's really not that much going on. It's just all about is Jackie's husband having an affair or not, and just a rumor that seems like has no legs at all. And I don't know. It's we'll see how the season goes. I'm not. It's kind of honestly, there's just not much going on. It would have been fun to see her fall in love with this guy, but I think it happens after they start filming. Our girl, oh my God, Meghan McCain. She had a look on last week that I just couldn't. It was a high pony with a long braid right at the top of her head. She paired it with a striped shirt. And I put on Instagram, when did JoJo Siwa start hosting The View? And, you know, people don't know why she's doing these awful hairdos. There's several reasons of thought. Is she in on the joke now? Does she know that we're talking about her more, that she's trending every day when she has an awful outfit? Here's an awful hairdo. Here's another hairdo where it's parted down the middle and she's got braids. She had one where it was a braid down the middle and it looked to be like a fake wig in the back that didn't look like it was high quality. And who are her hairdressers? So I would like the Juicy Scoopers to find out who her hairdressers are. Does she think these people are her friends? Are they actually her enemies? Are they double agents? What is there about this? Because I think Meghan McCain is very, very pretty, but these are the wrong outfits because everybody has their things about their body they don't like. I don't have like a great jawline, okay? She has a nice jawline, but she has a shorter neck. And I looked up, because I am a Christian and I do want to help people, I looked up hairstyles for people with short necks. And let me tell you, it's long flowing hair like this. It is not high things coming out of your head. It is, they said, the last thing you'll want is a hairstyle that works against your features, okay? So they talk about it, and so she should have long flowy hair, middle part, side part. I don't think that matters, but she kind of needs soft hair around her face, not these extreme braids and things going on. But I think she's in on the joke. I think she likes the fame of it. And I think it's kind of like a fuck you. I'm doing something different every day and I'll trend on Twitter every day. And there you go. And The View does get great ratings because they all fighting against each other is pretty entertaining. And they are the only talk show of women that talk about politics. So I do like it. Okay. Credit to the Talk of Shame. I've talked about her before. She's a great Instagram girl. Okay, we were watching Below Deck Sailing, which I don't really care about this cast except that Drake's obsessed that one guy is 6'7" and he has to sleep in the bunk because my son is tall and he just doesn't understand why this guy would get into sailing, and neither do I. And he's hot for a girl who's only 5'2". So he's a tall and she's a small, and they might have sex. I don't know how they're going to do it because it's in the bunk. I don't know how she would have to get on top. There isn't really room for her to get on top because he's got a top bunk and he would have got a bottom bunk. So they'd have to be like laying next to each other. And then the height difference, like she would literally be like at his belly button or something. I don't know. We're going to keep watching if they bone, but I'm not that interested in the characters of these people. I always like the guests. So the guests come and they're a crazy bunch of people. It was very hard to even understand. Basically, it's two dads who were married, okay? And they're from England. And they were like the first gay couple to do surrogacy, and their children were the first children in the UK to have two fathers and no mother listed as their parents. So those boys now are like in their 20s or something, and they're on the trip. Then there's two other little boys that they also had, along with a daughter. So they had 5 kids through surrogacy together. But then they broke up. And one of the stories that that people doing the deep dive, Talk Shame doing the deep dive on, was they've tried to get a reality show. They do a lot of articles about themselves because they did have this fame of being this first like gay family that was featured. Apparently this girl who was their daughter, who is on the boat with them on the sailing trip, her boyfriend fell in love with her dad. Okay? They say that. So, and she's got so much plastic surgery, the daughter, and she says she has this company that like nobody's even looking at. Anyway, but her makeup, she's got this ridiculously thick brows, the white dot at the end of the nose, and the overly lined lips. I mean, everybody has this face. There was a photo of Jen Shah recently. I thought it was Kim Kardashian. Everybody is morphing into Kim Kardashian. Anyway, so basically, isn't that crazy? So we're watching the episode. The girl is with her ex-boyfriend, who then fell in love and started having sex with her dad. He's on the boat, and it really kind of reminds me of Tiger King. Was that what's called Tiger King? Remember the guy, he had those boyfriends that were gay, or they said they were gay, but then since he's been in prison, one went and like married a wife and had like 3 kids. I feel like this guy, I don't know, like he's there just for the money. I don't even know, but he is going to ask him to marry him on the episode next week. And then the other dad, he has his boyfriend who's a young black guy. So they both replaced each other with very young guys. And then they have the 2 older boys, the 2 younger boys, which the one guy said, enjoy your food now. And he's an English accent. He goes, because you're going to fat camp when you come back. He says that to like his 8-year-old son. And so it is thank God they got some good people to be on the show, because the show is a little bit boring. And then they finally sail, and like the captain's all annoyed because no one even cares that they're sailing. They're just down in their rooms looking at like their phones. But just watch it for that. Okay, Britney Spears. Everyone's very concerned about Britney Spears. She likes to dance to this song. She says, I dance to it every night. And in it, she wrote this. My life has always been very speculated, watched and judged really my whole life. For my sanity, I need to dance to I Am Stevert every night of my life, feel wild and human and alive. I have been exposed my whole life performing in front of people. It takes a lot of strength to trust the universe with your real vulnerability because I've always been so judged, insulted, and embarrassed by the media. And I'm still to this day, 3 thumbs down. As the world keeps on turning and life goes on, we still remain so fragile and sensitive as people. I didn't watch the documentary about herself, but for one I did see, I was embarrassed by the light they put me in. I cried for 2 weeks, and well, I still cry sometimes. I do what I can in my own spirituality with myself to try and keep my own joy, love, and happiness. Every day dancing brings me joy. I'm not here to be perfect. Perfect is boring. So some people don't think that she wrote this. They think it's trying to say, actually, the documentary really hurt my feelings. You guys have it wrong. I'm not this crazy person that can't go outside. I actually am really happy and I'm enjoying it. And I've been in the spotlight my whole life and I'm enjoying this time not being in the spotlight. So please let me stay with my dad and the people that handle my money and leave me alone. That's what the concern is. She was doing some weird posts though. She had this post saying, the devil is in the details. Wouldn't want this baby to hit me one more time, which is the name of her song. And it's like a photo of an 1800s woman holding a baby, but it's like a skull, an old skull baby. And that was weird because that came out right around Lil Nas's song that came out where he is worshiping the devil, goes down to hell, the video, and gives, Lil Nas is an out gay man. He gives the devil, a man playing the devil, a lap dance, and then he kills him by twisting his neck, and then he takes his thing, and now he's the devil. And he hired a marketing team that made 666, 666 side of the devil, Nike type of shoes that apparently have real blood in the soles. And they sold out for like $1,100, $1,200 within 1 minute. And people are really upset. They think it's Satan worshiping. Here's a photo of him doing his video. Miley Cyrus had a pair of the Satan shoes. They're black with a tiny bit of red on the heel. But it's all a marketing thing. It's like, I don't think he's a Satan worshiper. But I don't know why it was kind of weird that Brittney was getting in on it with her weird stuff. Anyway, in other news, this was good. The Sun is reporting, and they happen to have a photographer there, so Meghan Markle's dad called the Sun, or Samantha Markle did, to make sure that this moment was captured by a photographer and shared with the world. The moment is Meghan Markle's dad drove to Montecito and gave a handwritten note, which is photographed, to one of her security guards, Oprah's security guard. And in the letter, he says, it's a letter to Oprah saying, please interview me about my relationship with my daughter. Please get this letter to my daughter. I don't know if you're going to go and make some lemon cake together. Oh, that's another thing. Meghan Markle made some TikTok famous lemon cake with olive oil, and she used lemons from her own tree. Guys, Peter, how long have we had a lemon tree for?
10 years.
We've had a lemon tree for 10 years. It produces a lot of lemons. First the rescue chickens, now the lemons. I mean, good thing she's having a girl and not 2 boys, because otherwise I would have been like, this is getting creepy. Please stop copying me, Meghan Markle. And she has a crazy sister too. So it's like, it's just ridiculous. So obviously Oprah's never going to talk to Meghan Markle's dad. I don't know where he's staying in Montecito, but Peter, should we hop in the car right now? It's about an hour and a half. Try to find him. Offer him a cup of coffee and a little meat pie at Armie Hammer's ex-wife's place to be, Bird Bakery. Oh, Peter's too lazy. He has a tea time. He said he'd like the Juicy Scoopers to find Meghan Markle's dad. And once you guys find him, get him in the car, drive to Woodland Hills, and I will talk to Meghan Markle's dad. Okay? We don't need Oprah for everything. You have Heather McDonald of Juicy Scoop. Let's see. What else do I want to talk about? Oh, Kim Kardashian. This is a little bit of old news. But she got a grill that she put on her bottom teeth of opals etched in diamonds. So it's just like a little like an Invisalign. I thought that grills and stuff were like you had no teeth and you replaced them with gold teeth. But they just clip on. And so I'm kind of like, well, that's not that weird of a style. Why the hell not? They're white and sparkly. And, you know, again, it's just kind of a fun, weird thing to do. She had one on her top too. You can do, she put a little diamond thing in between her teeth. She has no split, but she made it look like a split. Very, very weird. Let me see what else I want to talk about. Oh, this was kind of fun. Okay, Travis, speaking of Kardashian news, I'm watching the Kardashians, by the way, and I am enjoying the last season. They did the episode I saw, I think I'm like 1 week late, but it was Scott Disick talking about Sophia. And he's like, yeah, I don't know what's going on with Sophia. I mean, and each time he sees a new sister, they're like hanging out at this beach house that's gorgeous. And they're like, so what's going on with you and Sophia? Well, I mean, hey, we've been together for a significant amount of time, for 3 years. And, you know, it's like, I'm not the easiest guy to be with. I'm a dad. My kids come first. My family comes first. And in that family, that's Courtney, that's Kim, that's Chloe, that's all of you guys. You're the only family I have. And she not happy with it anymore. And, you know, I can get why it's not going to be great, you know, being with me. So then like another day passes by or whatever. And then like one of the other sisters is like, so Scott, I saw you spent 4th of July with Sophia. Yeah, I spent 4th of July with Sophia. It was just like a big, you know, kind of a last-ditch effort is, can we make this work? And she said, she gave me an ultimatum. She said, it's either myself or Courtney. And, you know, that's just not going to work for me. Anyway, I thought it was interesting because we now know he's been with Amelia Gray. Yeah, that's right. Lisa Rinna here. Amelia freaking Gray is dating Scott Disick. Okay? Well, thank God that show's ending because I don't want them talking about my baby girl the way they talked about Lionel Richie's daughter. You know, saying that she gave him an ultimatum. I agree with Lisa Rinna. It doesn't come off great. Even though we're like, good for you, Sophia, for getting away. It makes her sound like the mean stepmother that's going to like put the kids in the back house or something. Like it's either them or me. I have to be more of a priority. He spoke about her respectfully, but if I was Sophia Richie, I would be pretty pissed. And I'm sure she signed her life away. And obviously she's a public figure and that's his life and he can talk about her and she's appeared on the show. But I'm sure she's not enjoying that they were talking about her relationship and about her without her actually getting the fun of being featured on the show. I've only seen her a couple times. Once they went looking for a house, or maybe that was on Flipping Disick. I really don't think I've seen her on the actual Kardashians. After she turned 21, he's like, you're too old. And that's when he started dating Amelia Gray. And, you know, and now we know that Courtney's been dating Travis Barker for a while. They were friends because he has some kids, I think, that are like around Mason's age. And they're neighbors and they're out all the time. And it's definitely a different type of guy to enter their family. Courtney, you know, dated Scott before forever. Then she dated some hot younger models. So she's gone younger. I think Travis is her age or older. But of course, he's white, but he's heavily tattooed. And he was married to, can you look up who he's married to? Because I can't remember her name. This beautiful Shannon Moakler. Shannon Moakler, she was a model and a Miss America person. So kind of a conservative way of coming up in the entertainment industry. And she fell in love with Oscar De La Hoya and had one child with Oscar De La Hoya and then a couple kids with Travis Barker. And then Travis Barker and she had their own reality show. And they were always like in love, breaking up, fighting, pregnancy tests. And he has this cute daughter named Alabama, who I believe is definitely Shannon Moakler's daughter. And I got this thing sent to me about this makeup, like a PR person sent it to me. And it was a video that she was doing where she was showing how the makeup can cover tattoos on her dad. And it really did cover it like that, which always was such a big deal for makeup artists. Like if you were an actor or something, they'd always say, do you have any tattoos? Because we got to leave you so much extra time in the makeup chair to make sure that we can cover up these tattoos. Well, this makeup, look it up if you ever want to cover a tattoo or something and you can't do it right away. He had one on his face and she did a really good job, and they have like a cute relationship. So I'm kind of excited to see where this goes, where, you know, he does have a tattoo of Shannon Moakler's face on his neck. So when I saw this PR thing, I thought, oh my God, is this going to be, you know, is this going to, him going to cover up his his wife? But hey, if I would think Courtney would not be that kind of person that would make him like get rid of a tattoo of his ex-wife, because here she just heard Scott Disick moan and groan about the fact that he couldn't be with Sophia anymore because Sophia wasn't cool with him and Courtney going on vacations with the kids and all that. So who knows? I am enjoying it. Tristan and Khloe are trying to have another baby. She's sticking with the Kardashian plan, which is what I always said, where they sat down and said, let's all have the same baby daddy, no matter what. Let's stick with one baby daddy, get all your babies from the same baby daddy, and then shoo away. You're all 100% siblings, and I can raise you the way I choose. I think she's really in love with Tristan. He's doing a lot more on the show. He's, you know, because he wasn't doing basketball because of the pandemic, so he's like doing a confessional. And you can tell she likes him. She claims they're not sleeping together. But they're doing IVF because they're not sleeping together. But then she reveals that she shouldn't even carry the baby because she had a tough pregnancy with True or something. And so she's going to get a surrogate. And I don't know. It's just kind of interesting. My prediction is the surrogate is probably pregnant. We're going to find out any day now that they have another baby. Whoever this surrogate is, friends with Kim surrogate on some, you know, military base, probably in San Diego. I don't know who they got, but that's my prediction, because this was all being done a while ago and it seemed like, you know, it was going well. So you guys, have a wonderful Easter weekend. Or coming up. Yes, Easter's coming up. And when you're taking your walks and you're hiding your eggs, you can listen to Patreon. That's right. You go to heathermcdonald.net, you click on Patreon, you change your life. There's all the content of the last 3 years is there on the level that you join. It's all commercial free. Every back episode. Change your life. Join patreon.com/juicyscoop. You will love it. New episodes every Friday, plus juicy crimes and other treats for the different tiers you join. Thank you.